It all started with a button, not a metaphorical one. A literal candy apple red button, the size of a dinner plate, installed in every town square on Earth. It had one simple label, printed in a friendly, almost cartoonish font, "Ban Billionaires." For months, it was just a strange piece of public art, a global inside joke. People took selfies with it. Teenagers dared each other to touch it. Pundits on the 24-hour news holograms debated its meaning endlessly, calling it a profound statement on wealth inequality or a childish prank. No one thought it actually did anything. It was just there, a weird, silent monument to a collective fantasy. Then, on a Tuesday, a toddler in Scunthorpe, chasing a pigeon while holding a half-eaten biscuit, stumbled. Her sticky little hand slapped right onto the button's glossy surface. There was no sound, no explosion, just a quiet, anticlimactic click that was heard around the world. For a moment, nothing happened. The pigeon flew away. The toddler started crying, not because she toppled global capitalism, but because she dropped her snack. People checked their neuro feeds, expecting a meme or a viral clip. Instead, they saw their bank balances. And for 99.9% of the population, everything was exactly the same. But for a select few, the numbers had gone wild. Across the globe, a few thousand people suddenly felt a strange digital emptiness. Their offshore accounts evaporated, their stock portfolios flatlined, their crypto wallets, once bulging with incomprehensible strings of code, now held the digital equivalent of lint and dust bunnies. The button wasn't a joke, it was a global wealth cap, hard-coded into the planet's financial system. It didn't just ban billionaires, it vacuumed up any personal wealth over $1 billion. The world's most exclusive club had just had its membership revoked, not by a revolution or a war, but by a clumsy toddler and a very, very real button. The system was surprisingly elegant in its execution. It left everyone with a cool billion. Nobody was left poor, at least not by any normal human standard. They could still afford their avocado toast, their private jets, maybe smaller ones, and their solid gold toilets. The button wasn't designed to punish, you see, it was designed to rebalance. The algorithm that powered it was nicknamed the Great Equalizer, and it performed its one and only task with terrifying efficiency. The world held its breath, wondering what would happen next. The era of the multi-billionaire was over. The age of the merely comfortable billionaire had just begun. The reactions were, to put it mildly, spectacular. On a private space yacht orbiting Mars, a tech mogul was reportedly seen trying to barter with the ship's cleaning robot, offering it lifetime oil changes in exchange for hiding his last remaining platinum ingots. The robot, bound by its new programming, simply polished the floor around his sobbing form. In a high-tech bunker beneath New Zealand, another former titan of industry was found weeping into a pile of now worthless share certificates, using them to blow his nose. His panic was so profound he forgot the combination to his own diamond-encrusted doomsday vault. The panic was a beautiful, chaotic spectacle broadcast on every screen. One billionaire, famous for his anti-aging obsession, accidentally locked himself in his cryo chamber after his AI butler, now governed by a public utility protocol, refused to recognize his authority. Another tried to escape to his private island nation, only to find the nation had voted to become a public bird sanctuary. His yacht was gently boarded by cheerful park rangers who offered him a complimentary pamphlet on puffin conservation. The world watched, not with malice, but with a kind of fascinated pity, like watching a dramatic nature documentary about a species suddenly realizing it's no longer at the top of the food chain. The absurdity just kept escalating. Luxury brands panicked as their key demographic suddenly developed an interest in budgeting. A famous social media tycoon, live streaming his breakdown, tried to sell his metaverse platform to his followers for $1, but everyone was too busy watching his meltdown to click the buy button. His virtual empire crumbled in real time. Another tried to pay for his groceries with a watch worth more than a hospital wing, only for the automated checkout to ask, "Do you have any loyalty points?" The system didn't care about his past glory. It only cared if he had a coupon. This wasn't just a financial reset. It was an identity crisis on a global scale. These individuals had defined themselves by their ever-expanding net worth. Their value as human beings was tied to a number that went up and up and up. Now that number had a ceiling. They were still incredibly, absurdly wealthy, but the game was over. The high score had been set, and they could no longer play. For the first time, they were forced to look at their $1 billion and think, well, now what? The answer was coming, and it involved a one-way ticket to a tropical island. The moment the button was pressed, something else happened. Deep in the Swiss Alps, a vault door, rumored to be a myth, swung open. This wasn't a bank, it was the Planet Fund. All the siphoned trillions, all that excess wealth that used to slosh around in abstract markets, poured into this single global account. A friendly AI with a soothing voice like a kindly grandparent immediately began its work. Its sole purpose was to repair the planet and uplift humanity. There were no committees, no political debates, no bureaucratic delays, just a calm, logical distribution of unimaginable resources. The first projects were breathtaking in their speed and scale. Swarms of solar-powered drones descended upon the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, not just collecting plastic, but converting it into building materials for new, affordable housing. In the Sahara, advanced atmospheric water harvesters began coaxing rain from the dry air, turning barren sand into lush wetlands. Entire deserts began to bloom. The Amazon rainforest, once shrinking, was reseeded by automated planters that fired seed bombs into the soil. Within months, the green lungs of the planet began to breathe deeply again, a visible change from space. This wasn't just about the environment, it was about people. Every crumbling school was retrofitted overnight, becoming a high-tech learning hub with holographic teachers and dynamic classrooms. Clean water became a universal right, not a commodity, as new filtration systems were installed in every village on Earth. From the most remote mountain hamlet to the densest urban slum, lead pipes were replaced by self-cleaning intelligent water mains. Global hunger was eradicated in a week. The Planet Fund, AI, simply rerouted food surpluses with logistical perfection, ensuring everyone had access to nutritious, healthy meals. The changes were so rapid, so positive, that they felt like a dream. City skies, once thick with smog, turned a brilliant, forgotten shade of blue. The air tasted clean, crisp, and fresh. Rivers that had been polluted for centuries ran clear and fish returned to their waters. The AI didn't ask for permission, it just fixed things. It calculated the most efficient way to solve a problem and executed the solution. The world was being healed by a cascade of pure, unadulterated funding, applied with the cold, benevolent logic of a machine that just wanted to make things better for everyone. For the newly minted single-digit billionaires, life took a strange turn. They were all invited, a polite, non-negotiable invitation, to a place called the Empathy Rehabilitation Center. It was located on a beautiful tropical island, formerly a private resort. Here they learned radical new concepts, like doing your own laundry and queuing. Their therapy involved practical tasks for the public good. The former space mogul was put in charge of a community garden, learning to nurture tomatoes instead of stock options. The social media tycoon's new job was to help elderly citizens learn how to use the new public communication network, teaching human connection instead of chasing engagement metrics. Meanwhile, the tools of the old world were being creatively dismantled. In public parks, massive military tanks and missile launchers were melted down on site by mobile foundries. The molten metal was then poured into molds to create incredible sprawling playground structures. Children now played on slides shaped like repurposed jet fighters and swung from monkey bars made from decommissioned battleships. The symbols of war and division were literally transformed into objects of joy and laughter. The world's armies were retrained as global emergency response teams, ready to fight floods and fires instead of each other. Politics underwent its own transparent revolution. Parliaments were rebuilt inside giant transparent domes, where every vote and every conversation was public record. Politicians wore small biometric sensors that glowed red if their heart rate and speech patterns indicated they were lying. The truth lasers, as they were humorously known, made deception impossible. Debates became shorter, more honest, and shockingly productive. Laws were passed not for political gain, but for the common good, because every citizen could see and hear the truth for themselves. The age of the backroom deal was over. The planet healed, the sky was clear, the birds returned, and the constant, grinding hum of anxiety that had defined modern life was replaced by a quiet sense of peace. People smiled at strangers, they planted trees in their neighborhoods and shared food from community gardens. Humanity, freed from the absurd game of infinite wealth accumulation, had finally started working together. It was a bright, clean, cooperative future, all because a toddler, a pigeon, and a big red button decided it was time for a change. The world was finally as beautiful as it was always meant to be.
Inspire, entertain, uplift. Join the movement. Planet, duh.